Hey there YouTube, Ruckman back and mostly recovered from the end of the year case of COVID. We're going to do something a little different for this week's deck tech and look to what the future could hold in Kaldheim. We know elf travel is going to be a cornerstone for the set, so let's look at a current build of elves and then theory craft what to look out for in the upcoming Norse mythology themed set. We start off with Pioneer's favorite sons, Elvish Mystic and Llanowar Elves. Anyone who's played Pioneer should expect to see 8 copies of these mana dorks in just about every green-based deck in the format, and getting to play them on Tribe here is no different. They're perfect to help us race to an early collected company, or 3-drop, or by just helping us start casting multiple creatures as early as possible. For 2-drops, we're playing 4 copies of Dwynen's Elite, which is in my opinion one of the reasons to play the deck. By putting 3 power on the board across 2 bodies for only 2 mana, Elite is an above the curve threat that really sets up our board for the deck's big payoff spell. Next we have 3 copies of Thorn Lieutenant, whose 3 toughness really throws a wrench into early game combat math, and also leaves a body behind if it eats an early piece of interaction from our opponents. Next up, 2 copies of Wildborn Preserver, which give us a way to spend any extra mana we may have lying around in the late game to make for a very large threat. Lastly, we have 4 copies of Elvish Clancaller, which is currently only one of 2 true elf lords in the Pioneer format, but wow is it a good one. For only 6 mana, it has the ability to let you tutor up another copy from your library and place it straight onto the battlefield. Talk about a late game board breaker. In the 3-drop slot, we're playing 4 copies of Steelleaf Champion. This tried and true Pioneer staple bounds over early blockers and really starts racking up the damage fast, making it a must-answer threat. Our other 3-drop is the real powerhouse of the deck. 4 copies of Shaman of the Pack. For those who have never played against elves before, don't let this uncommon fool you because it racks up big damage quick. Even having only 2 other elves on the board means we still get to bolt our opponent, so imagine hitting 2 of these off a late game company into a full board. Next, we have 2 copies of the other dedicated elf lord in Pioneer, Dwynen Guiltleaf Dane. Unfortunately, Dwynen falls outside of Coco range, but she's still a well-statted body and can lead to big life swings with her attack trigger, so don't count her too far down and out. Oh, and be sure to remember that Dwynen has reach. That might help you win a PPTQ someday. Outside of our creatures, we're playing 3 copies of Lead the Stampede to fill our hand back up with a bevy of creatures. Then of course we have 4 copies of the aforementioned collected company to filter the top of our library and put the best elves onto the board. And let me tell you, you haven't lived till you got to hit double Shaman off a Coco. But honestly, any Coco that hits a Shaman is perfect for our game plan. For lands, we're playing 4 Overgrown Tomb, 4 Blooming Marsh, and 2 Unclaimed Territory. Then we have 2 Castle Garenbrig and 2 Mutabolts as some value gain lands, and rounding out our 22 lands are 8 forests. Here's where we normally go over the sideboard, but like I said, we're going to try something a little different this week. So just as a reminder, here's what the main board currently looks like. We've got 8 mana dorks supporting some great value-added 2-drops, with the big payoff in Shaman of the Pack, and a big damage dealer in Steelleaf Champion. Compared to other Eternal format versions of elves, there's a lot less fast mana since we're lacking things like Elvish Archdruid, Heritage Druid, or Gaia's Cradle. We're also lacking a big payoff creature like Craterhoof Behemoth for big Alpha Strike combats. Sure, we could be playing something like Enray's Forerunners, but it just doesn't come close to the hoof. Meaning, we're relying on Shaman of the Pack for big elf balls to help easily close out our games. So what are we looking for in Kaldheim? Well, number 1, we're looking for another lord to go alongside Elvish Clancaller. Dwynen is fine, but we miss her with company, meaning we only have 4 lords that can be grabbed. Now let's take a look at some of the lords that have already been printed, and see if there's one that would be perfect for Pioneer. Elvish Champion is our baseline, +1/+1 in Forest Walk, so not bad but not too exciting, though it would pretty much make our deck unblockable against a lot of the format. Next, Imperious Perfect. Same thing, +1/+1 to the board, but instead of Forest Walk, let's make an extra elf token every turn, setting up for larger Shaman of the Pack triggers, which is just what we're looking to do. Lastly, we have Elvish Archdruid, and if there's a gold star option, I certainly think it's Archdruid for the insane amount of mana it can make, but I also think that makes it potentially dangerous for the format. So if I was going to pick a lord, I would go with Imperious Perfect. Another option though would be a similar elf to Azuri Renegade Leader, which doesn't natively pump our board, but would give us a big push in the late game, and some Wrath protection. Some other cards I would certainly look out for and want is a functional reprint of Dwynen's Elite, because seriously, 2 elves for 1 is great for our Shaman of the Packs. Now, I don't think we'll see something like a Heritage Druid get printed, meaning we're probably not going to be running cards like Elvish Visionary, but I think it would be cool to see a card sort of like Elvish Visionary / Llanowar Mystic, maybe at a 2-drop spot that's still a 1/1, so we had a mana dork at 2, but it also drew a card. Whatever we do end up getting, I think Elves is poised to make a pretty big foothold in the Pioneer format with the right card or 2 being added in Kaldheim. So make sure you aren't sleeping on one of Magic's oldest tribes in our favorite format. As always, this has been Ruckman with Crew3. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to keep up with our weekly deck techs. For more Pioneer content, you can find Crew3 A Pioneer Podcast on all major podcasting platforms, or you can join us over on twitch.tv/Crew3MTG, where I stream several nights a week. If you'd like to see your name added to this wonderful list at the end of all of our videos, head on over to patreon.com/Crew3MTG, support the podcast and this channel. I want to thank everyone again for supporting me while I've been sick for the past couple weeks. I was very lucky to have only a mild case, but it still definitely made things pretty hard. So I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye!